It's getting towards the end of the season now, and the Premier League is still very tight, especially at the top of the table. So, in this video, I'm going to be analysing each of the teams in the top end of the Premier League, their run-in, and whether I think they have a chance of finishing in the top four or not. So, this video, I'm going to be looking at Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, West Ham, and Wolves, because they're the teams left that are still in jeopardy as to whether they will finish in the top four, top six, or miss out on European football entirely. Because you have Chelsea in third, Spurs in fourth, Arsenal in fifth, level on points, Man United in sixth, West Ham seventh, and Wolves eighth. And then after that you have Leicester, who are ninth and have a game in hand over Wolves, but they're 8 points away. So realistically, I'm going to discount Leicester because I think they'll have to go on a ridiculous run in order to even finish above Wolves, let alone sixth or seventh or even fifth. So in this video, I'm going to be analysing the 6 teams that I've mentioned, excluding Leicester, and analysing whether I think they'll reach the top four or not. So we'll start off with Wolves, who are 8th. They're currently on 49 points. They've played 32 games and have a goal difference of 5. Now, even if Wolves miss out on European football, they still had a brilliant season, given that they sacked Nuno last season, brought in a new manager in Bruno Lage. Not many people had even heard of him, let alone watched his football or analysed how he manages games and what formations he plays. So for Bruno to come in and for Wolves really to change their style of system, they've had a fantastic season. Obviously, they got rid of other players as well, including Patricio for Jose Sarr, which arguably now looks like an upgrade. He's been a fantastic signing, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So Wolves, no matter what, have had a very good season. But analysing their remaining fixtures, it could be even better because they play the likes of Burnley away, Brighton at home, and Norwich at home. The only thing with Wolves, of course, is that they're already 3 points behind West Ham, although they do have a game in hand, but they play Liverpool and Man City away. So if you immediately count those as losses, because they are effectively free hits given the phenomenal form Liverpool and Man City have shown this season, realistically, Wolves have to minimum beat Burnley, Brighton and Norwich in order to have any chance of finishing in the top four. So that would put them on 58 points, and Spurs at Arsenal already 1 point away from that. So I think Wolves probably won't reach top four. But in terms of catching Man United, as I'll come on to later, Man United have really difficult fixtures, and if Wolves can beat Burnley, Brighton, Norwich, and then maybe get a surprise win against Chelsea, that puts them over 60 points, and Man United might not reach that. They might collapse. So I would say Wolves have still got a really good chance of finishing 6th. In terms of realistically for them, though, it is about whether they can finish above West Ham in 7th. Now, West Ham have 3 more points, but have played a game more. They've got a goal difference that's 4 more than Wolves, and that might count towards something at the end of the season. And with West Ham, out of the 2 massive teams in terms of Liverpool, Man City, West Ham still have to play Man City at home, so you'll probably discount that. They play Chelsea away in their next game, which is very difficult, and Arsenal at home, but they play Norwich and Brighton. So actually, they've got similar fixtures to Wolves, except for they've played a game more. So in terms of analysing those 2 teams, I think that West Ham will finish above Wolves, because I know Wolves have played a game less, but I think at this stage of the season, arguably points are worth more, especially given that Wolves have to play Liverpool and Man City. So I think it will stay as it is, but you never know, and I could be wrong, because West Ham, they might just collapse against Chelsea away and then Arsenal, and in that sense, Wolves, they've got a game in hand, so they could just pip West Ham. But no, I think it's going to stay as that, to be fair. I think West Ham will be 7th and Wolves 8th. But then above West Ham, you have Man United, who have 54 points, 2 more than West Ham, have played the same amount of games as West Ham in 33, and have a goal difference of 4, which is very bad for a Man United team. Now, Man United's next 2 fixtures are Arsenal away and Chelsea at home, which is very difficult for them. I don't see them beating either team. I think Man United will lose both games actually, and if they lose both games, then that is basically them missing out on Champions League football, isn't it? Which will be a very disappointing season for them, because minimum they have to beat Brentford and beat Brighton to even get 60 points, and then Palace away, that's a difficult match. So, you know what? I actually think Man United will stay sixth. I do. I think Man United will stay sixth. So, that's my prediction, them finishing sixth. Obviously, that could change because it is in their hands. If they beat Arsenal, they go level on points with them. So, it's in their hands, but I think Man United will stay sixth. But above them, you have Arsenal, who are on 57 points, played 32 games, a goal difference of 10. And above Arsenal, you have Spurs, who are in fourth, on the same amount of points, played the same games, but have an 8 goal difference better. So Spurs' goal difference is 18, Arsenal's is 10. So it's very, very close. And they have to play each other, which is really, really exciting. In terms of analysing their fixtures, Arsenal have Man United at home, which, given Man United's diabolical form, I think that's winnable. Then West Ham away, which is difficult, but to be fair, what I will mention is that West Ham have one eye on the Europa League. I mean, they will focus far more on trying to beat Frankfurt over 2 legs, because I think realistically for West Ham, that's far more of a better avenue for them to reach Champions League at this stage of the season now than it is to finish in the top 4, because they're already 5 points away from Spurs with a goal difference that's significantly worse. So, I mean, West Ham would have to. I think West Ham would have to win all their games and then just count Man City as a free hit to even get to 64 points. And even then, Spurs are only 5 points off that. So I think West Ham will discount top 4. So in that sense, they'll focus all their efforts on the Europa League so that they can qualify for the Champions League, of course. So I think in that sense, Arsenal playing West Ham away isn't too bad, because at that point in the season, West Ham will be focusing on the Europa League. Then after that, Arsenal playing Leeds at home, which could be difficult because Leeds have improved since Jesse Marsch has come in as manager. But I still think Arsenal will win that game. And then Spurs away. Massive game. Massive game. Then Arsenal play Newcastle away, which is difficult because they're in good form. And then finally, Everton at home, which I think is very winnable, given Everton have had a really poor season. And by that point, they'll probably be safe. So Everton will just see that as a free hit. So I think Arsenal will win that one. As for Spurs, they play Brentford away, which is not easy. That's a difficult fixture. Then Leicester at home, then Liverpool away, and then Arsenal at home. That's very, very difficult for Spurs, because they'll probably lose to Liverpool. And then North London derby, that's a huge game. Then they play Burnley at home, and although Burnley did beat Spurs earlier in the season at Turf Moor, I think Spurs will win that game. I can see Spurs winning that game against Burnley, and then Norwich on the final day. And I tell you what, Norwich will probably be relegated by then, but if there's any team that will lose that game, it's Spurs. So that actually could be a harder fixture than people might realise. I mean, when Spurs were going for the title against Leicester, on the final day of the season, Spurs got thrashed against Newcastle and they finished third. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Spurs lost that game. So I think in that sense, Arsenal have the easier fixtures. I do. Because Arsenal play at home 3 times. They play a West Ham team that have got such a thin squad and will be focusing on the Europa League. Everton at home on the last day of the season is a good fixture. So, and they're playing Man United at the perfect time. So, I actually think Arsenal will finish in the top 4. I think Arsenal will finish ahead of Spurs, but that's just my opinion, of course. So, I think it will be Wolves, West Ham, Man United, Spurs, Arsenal, and then Chelsea. Finally, Chelsea. They've got West Ham at home, which they could slip up. They could. And then they've got to go to Old Trafford, which, I mean, it's a better time than any playing Man United, but you never know. Maybe given the news that Erik ten Hag has officially been confirmed as manager, the Man United players might be pumped up, so Chelsea might lose that one. Then they play Everton away, which Everton are in poor form, but with Frank Lampard being Everton manager, is there something in the air there? Could he undo Chelsea? And then Chelsea play Wolves at home, Leeds away, Leicester at home and Watford at home. Having Leicester at home and Watford at home as the last two fixtures is really good for Chelsea. I think they're very winnable fixtures because Leicester won't have anything to play for and Watford will probably be relegated by then. So they're two really good fixtures for Chelsea to finish on. Leeds away, going to Ellen Road is difficult. And like I said earlier, they have been in good form since Jesse Marsch has come in as manager. But by then, Leeds probably will be officially mathematically confirmed safe. So I think they're good fixtures for Chelsea for sure. And given that Chelsea are already 5 points clear of Spurs and have got a far superior goal difference, I think Chelsea will finish third. I do. The only thing I'll say though is that Chelsea's, in terms of level of difficulty, on paper, of course, only on paper, the hardest fixtures are the ones coming up first for Chelsea in the sense that they play West Ham, then got to go to Old Trafford, then got to go to Goodison Park with Frank Lampard as manager. So if Chelsea maybe only get 1 or 2 points out of those 3 games, they could be in a scenario where Spurs and Arsenal are level on points with Chelsea. And then Chelsea might panic. But having said that, given Chelsea are already 5 points clear, I think they'll do just enough. So analysing the European spots overall, I don't think it would change too much, but because it's so close, you could just get a surprise result here and there. And at some point, I'm sure out of all these fixtures that I've listed, there will be at least a couple of surprise results that will take everyone by surprise and shock everyone. So it's far from over. And in terms of specifically the top 4 race, I think Arsenal will finish above Spurs. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below or on social media. I appreciate you watching this video, guys. Thank you very much. Like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see what happens with the top 4 race. Thank you for watching.